Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And my name is Toby.
And we have our favorite guest on today, Jason Pizzino. For those of you who are new to this channel, we've had Jason on a few times now, and he's a great crypto trader, someone who we pull from for other information that we don't necessarily cover on our channel. So yeah, we got some questions for you, Jason. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I'm still smiling about being the favorite guest of yours. So, yeah, that does good things.
Let's get into his head. All right, let's move
on. So the first question I want to ask you is, there was a lot of attention on, Bitcoin dominance in previous weeks and, switching from Bitcoin pumping to altcoins pumping. But I wanted to know, how does your trading strategy change when we see things like all-time high with Bitcoin and Ethereum? Usually that's matched with a lot of volatility afterward. So how does your trading strategy change for that situation?
Okay, so when we get to all-time highs, I find that the strategy becomes far more easier, particularly with the analysis and the style that I use, which is Gann analysis. So anyone can look that up and start to learn about it. It's over 100 years old, invented by William Gann, an American trader from the early 1900s. And basically, when markets move into all-time high territory, those signals come up so much cleaner. It's only when the markets are trading sideways, which they get a little bit more choppy. It's still possible, but sideways markets are sideways markets. They're harder to make money from. You don't need to be a trader to know that. So the strategy essentially stays the same. I'm still using the same analysis, but the signals become much clearer and much easier.
Even though, do you feel like the timing of it is faster? Like, do you have to be more reactive?
Yeah, that's where I think it becomes more easy, because when it's sideways, you're sort of looking at longer time frames. At least that's my strategy, my style. It might be days to weeks, and you'll see it'll clean up the noise because you're sort of chopping sideways. So you want to clean up the noise. But when the market starts to take off, then you can drop down to a daily or 12-hour chart or a 4-hour chart, and then you start to see those signals. And that's what I teach my guys, looking at, who want to learn about trading. That when we get to those higher levels, then we have to start to decide, all right, do we keep looking at a daily, or do we go down to like a 4-hour chart? And then you're not always going to get it right, and you have to have signals to get back into the market if you get stopped out. That's the thing we're playing with.
Yeah, stop losses, especially what happened with Binance recently with Bitcoin going to 8,000.
That's crazy.
Some
people that woke up and weren't too happy.
Did you have any guys that got in underneath 40,000?
Yeah, we had some people who had limit orders got filled. So
that's amazing.
That was
freaking amazing.
That was real then, because you see it and you're like, oh, maybe it was just a glitch, like they said it was. But some people actually got filled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Cool.
Wow.
I know. You're already up like 50, 100, 200%. What was the lowest?
I think it was 8,000.
8,000.
Someone had it.
I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. It went down 8,000. I don't know who got filled at that price, but yeah.
All right. No, that's cool. So
yeah, it makes me wonder, what actually happened there.
Glitch Fat Finger Day.
Yeah.
2010. That's happened.
That was
before.
on the Binance.us exchange. So people were saying it was like a lack of liquidity or a bug that caused a lot of slippage.
Yeah,
that's what I read.
So one of the questions that we have a lot with our CT club is am I too late for a coin, or what are some of the indicators that you look at to see if I'm way too late for the coin?
Indicators. Let's throw on a chart. I'll just share a screen. That might be a bit easier for this one. The main thing I don't want to get in on is when the coin is already pumping. And look, we can just use Bitcoin because the charts are pretty much the same along anything. Once it starts to pump, that's not something that I really want to get in on, even though the market could keep going up like we saw. I'll take all the lines off and it keeps going up. But once it starts to pump, that's not in my style to jump on board of a pump, because I know eventually it's going to top out and then come back down. And Bitcoin, because it's a bigger market now, more money is in that market, it's not having as big of a retracement or correction as some of the small stuff. So Yeah, we can pick anything here. Let's go with Filecoin. I know you guys like that one, yeah?
Yeah. Everyone wants to
Filecoin.
know when that one's going to do well again.
Give it time or date or whatever.
Well, it looks like it's winding up at least, you know?
That's good.
It's coming down, higher bottoms.
Yeah.
But see, once that started to pump, and I think we were talking about this when it was pumping. Let's put on a daily. And I can't get myself to jump on board once it's already moved, because I know with crypto, just like you guys know, eventually it comes all the way back down. But at the same time, we can still miss out on those sort of gains, provided you get in at the next break and get out at the top. Otherwise, a lot of people will get in on the pump. You know, is it too late? They jump in, then they ride it all the way up. And this is literally how many days? Here's the pump day. This is the day that most people would probably get in again, because there's a lot of excitement. And then to measure to the top, that's only 6 days. 6 days of excitement. And then you have all of the terror, the nightmare. The money's coming all the way back down and down and down and down and down. So from that top, you're holding it 111 days. And then just to get back, let's call that the breakout, because see this bar here on the 26th of March, because the price started moving again. Everyone's thinking, is it too late? Because they've already seen a pump. And when you're looking at a chart, this is what you're actually looking at, you know, on the way up.
Sure.
So it's pumped. All right. So then we're just going to measure from that day that you've got into where it is now, and you're sort of sitting in that back here. So you're about 214 days into a move that you haven't seen profits again. So you saw profits and then it's wiped out. So is it too late? No, it's not necessarily too late. You can get on, but the train is probably going to come to a stop at some point and then roll all the way back down pretty soon. Is that the same for all the cryptos? No. You know, look at Axie Infinity, for example. Axie, still at 135. The train took off. You know, we were chatting, Toby, I, and some other friends, and, you know, talking about it. I think you guys are looking at somewhere around here, 15 to 20 or 20, whatever it was. And then it's just taken off, and it's still up here. So this was like one of the ones that didn't come back down yet. So it's a hard one. You can get in and as the train leaves and takes off real fast, but then I would just cover it with stops as the market moved up. You're like, all right, you can see that there's consolidation. Throw a stop in down here in case it comes back on you, so that you don't lose money. Because the main thing is you don't want to lose money. Everyone thinks it's about making money, but the hardest part is keeping that money.
Sure.
Yeah. So you put some stops in. Oh, damn, you got out. Okay, well, the train takes off again. You see some highs get broken. Fine, I'll get back in. I'll miss out on the potential paper profits I could have made between 60 and 80 bucks. And then I get back in and then just put my stops beneath the market again, in case this is the last time the train takes off.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's usually the times there. You can see the volume. This is like where most of the interest has been. So that's usually the time when people ask you that question, is it too late to get in? And it's usually at these periods here as it starts to take off. That's how I would play it.
Yeah. So it seems like the crypto market just takes the elevator up and the stairway down a lot of time.
It's almost like the elevator up sometimes, and then it hangs out at the viewing deck and then it drops back down.
Yeah.
You know, the old BART pattern. The fundamentals do help in a new project. Solana is almost like another one that seems similar at the moment. Sol USD, we're at 200 again. You know, it just took off. Is it too late? Is it too late? It's taken off again. Is it too late?
Yeah.
You know, is it going to do an Axie? It's crazy.
I mean, if you look at the overall market, Solana is just killing it compared to pretty much almost everything.
It's had some of the biggest gains.
Yeah, man, we were loving it back in the teens, huh? God.
That was nice through here. That little breakout. Yep. And then again, another breakout, late one.
I didn't expect that move up.
Not so quick as well. I wasn't expecting it that quick, but I was expecting big moves from Solana.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing, when is it too late or whatever? It's still pumping. So on the other side of that, what indicators are you looking for to call the top, to see, this is possibly, like what else could happen in this coin other than a correction
within
or
like
like a
1% of the
major
top.
Well,
to the minute.
My crystal ball isn't here. I know my crystal ball isn't here, but
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
I look at swings. So swings aren't necessarily like an indicator that you can just click on with any of these, symbols and stuff up
Black
here.
liner chart.
But they are Gann swings. So I have to learn how to draw those into the chart, and then I just continue to trail the swings on the way up. So it's not necessarily that I need to find the exact top, but I can then track underneath the lows of the market, and then eventually the market turns around and comes back. So, using Solana as an example, which hasn't broken down, even though I've posted publicly that I sold some Solana at 160 just to cover my initial position. I was looking at it on a shorter term time frame, so some of the swings were breaking down at that point, and you can see you had 2 solid weeks down. At the moment, there's no weekly swing that has been broken, so the trend is still up, so I just keep following it. So not necessarily like finding the top, but it's about tracking and trailing your stops as the market continues in its uptrend, and then as it starts to roll over, it's possible that it's time to get out. And it's not always going to be 100% right, so you've got to have that signal to get back in and then continue to ride it out. But that's the way the swings have been working forever, and they give you pretty good entries and exits close to the market turning points.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a huge realization that people who are new to crypto or to trading at all are going to have to realize, is that timing it isn't probably going to happen, but generally there's still profits to be made during a bull market, and you don't have to be so greedy to try to, perfectly time it and hold out for that.
Yeah, exactly. The main thing I always say to my guys, and you guys will do something similar, and you probably say it in your own words, is I just look to take a chunk out of the middle of the market. So everyone's trying to buy the exact low and sell the exact top. And I'm like, if you just use some simple swings and you get in as the all-time highs broken, 1600, it's so hard to do emotionally, or he would be about 1200 emotionally. It's like, how could I do that? The price was 200, now it's 1200. It's 6 times up. I can't do it. And then the market just takes off like this. You go, well, it's probably going to break down at some point. And you can see that the weekly low here broke at 11,000. It's crazy. It's way off the all-time high. But for most people, if they got in at 1200 and out at 12,000, they would be pretty happy.
Yeah.
They'd be pretty happy after watching it fall to $3,000 a year later,
Yeah.
So it's a chunk out of the middle. That's all you're trying to do, is take 50, 60, 70% out of the middle, and then come back, wait for the low, put some money in again as the market starts to move, and then you rinse and repeat.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, markets move in cycles, right? And it's all psychological. So
how many how many indicators would you need to come together for you to be comfortable with saying, all right, this is pretty close to the top?
I don't know about how many indicators. The main ones I would use are my swing. So you can see my yellow swings here. This was showing us a breakdown of the top. So if I just do this, sorry, here we go. These are my swings. All right. So I was talking about that on the channel as well. I got a breakdown of the swing low here at around 50 grand, so 49 grand, maybe I have a bit of a stop. And then there was another entry just above this bar of 36, so call it 37, give yourself a little tolerance there. And so that saved a little bit of cash in between, about $13,000 per Bitcoin. In terms of percentage, that's not too bad. How many things have to come together? Primarily the swings. I want to see some volume action as well. So that's another indicator that I use. And I want to see the pattern come together. So the pattern might be a distribution pattern. It might be a spike top, those sort of things. So if all of those are coming together, there's a few other things, but they take a bit of time just to understand. Once they're the main things that come together, then you sort of get on red alert.
Sure. That's it. I know a lot of my friends, they're trying to like time the market, and they're just missing it because of what you just said. They get in and it's not moving, so they move to another coin, but then it moves up for
They
2
move
weeks,
to
and
the
then they
coin
want to get in
that's
again.
moving. Yeah, they keep moving to the coin that's moving, and it's
Coin.
like, no, just wait, just
Yeah.
wait, and
It's like trying to pick
you'll
what
know
lane
when
of
to get out.
traffic you should be in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you'll know when to get out because the market will start to break down. Like you can see this consolidation, you can see the lows, and you go, well, if my coin's not moving, okay, but as long as it's staying above that level,
Yeah.
eventually we should get that move, provided it's a strong cryptocurrency as well, which is another story. But if it starts to break those lows, then maybe you should change lanes.
So what you were saying before is that what we're seeing now, in your opinion, is kind of moving kind of fast. And so what price would you like to see Bitcoin go to for more support or like a more conservative rise?
I'd be happy if it just stayed here between, you can see these previous highs around 58 to 60. So use that as a base and continue to consolidate between that 58 and wherever we are at the high at 60, whatever, 66, 67. But if it falls further, to the next support levels around 50 to 53, it's not the end of the world. This is the major one here. If we break 40, then it's either over or we go into another long consolidation again. That's like the pivot point here. You don't want to see this one broken.
It would kind of force everyone into that long-term perspective, which could be good.
Yeah.
Like you're in it now, locked in.
That's it. They'll all be selling out though. They'll be scared. They'll just drop the coins and move on.
Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you, everyone. I'm so used to the live streams. Thank you, Jason, for your great input and for highlighting, what's going on with crypto and Bitcoin specifically. So we're going to have you on again really soon to talk about altcoins and which ones are on your radar for hitting new all-time highs still in this bull run. So looking forward to that video.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. Yeah.
And like, subscribe.
Check out Jason Pizzino on YouTube. The link will be down below in the video description, of course.
Jason Pizzino. He's a great guy.
Awesome.
Good trader.
Thanks, Toby.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, guys.